friend of mine, Jessica, who basically, she was the first internet star on YouTube. She was the first ever YouTube star as Lonely Girl 15.
Right.
And we know each other in LA, and Jess came to me with this idea of she often would Skype with her, with people to help her on her auditions, and she actually asked me to do it once with her whilst I was on set filming Two Broke Girls, and I was in a dressing room at the time actually going through my new lines that they just gave me, because it's a sitcom and they change your script all the time, so I couldn't do it. And she was talking to me about an idea of like, well, what if there was a sort of network of people that could be available when someone you know and trust can't. And I just said to her, I know what you're thinking, there's something in that, let me get out of this sitcom, next week let's sit down and talk about this and see what we can do with this. I knew the perfect tech guy, but he's an actor, and can I drag him partially away from acting for a second? And I knew not to ask him to ever build me a website for anything.
Yeah. What I've always been doing is having that as a day job. We all have day jobs as actors. We all have day jobs, and we all do stuff, tending bars or whatever.
All right.
So my thing started out in a long time ago before Google. Doing little websites for people, and that grew into growing video projects online. And I sort of began to sort of specialise in building online video websites, platforms,
right.
Things that ran systems for companies to do video online.
Okay.
As my day job, as my part-time job while
Sure.
I was doing auditions because it was flexible. And I was doing a project which doesn't exist now, which is like a video on demand system. So I was doing that in San Francisco, and that had got to a point where I wasn't working on it anymore. And that was about the time when Darren said, do you want to work on this? This is idea. And I was like, oh, we could do this. Oh, we could do this. Oh, we could. Do you remember?
Yeah.
It was like, it wasn't, yeah, okay, I'll do that.
It was really...
But it was...
He got it straight away.
Yeah, definitely, because
Yeah.
it wasn't just a money-making idea. It was this could be useful for my career, which actually, like I said, brings these two worlds together, which is very strange that
Which is
I'm in that
fantastic.
position. So I was like, yeah, I'm in.
Welcome back to Diary of an Actor. And on this edition, I have two very special guests. In previous episodes, I have mentioned how important it is as actors to be proactive in your careers. And these two gentlemen really have taken that proactivity to another level. They are Darren Darnborough, who you would have seen in EastEnders, and Richard Cambridge, who you'd have seen in Hollyoaks. Darren now has relocated to Los Angeles, where he has a successful career as an actor, and Richard has continued his successful career as an actor in England. Now, we're going to talk about this creation of theirs. We rehearse and we audition. In fact, today, these guys have just come from an extraordinary event, which only happens currently every 2 years at Telsey Co, which is like the biggest casting suite in New York, where over 80 casting directors from the Casting Directors Society of America have gathered, and they've been blown away by what Darren and Richard have to offer. So talk us through this. We audition.
But we're actors ourselves, and so everything's coming from the ethos of we didn't want another site to sign up to where you might use it, you might not, and it's just doing what every other site is doing with a different look.
Right.
We've created it for something we would be proud to use ourselves and want to use. I like to explain it as it's sort of somewhere between a self-tape and a real audition. With a self-tape, you're recording on your own thing with your own reader, but you're getting no interactivity, you're getting no direction, and often you don't even know if someone's watched it. A real audition, you know you're in the room, you know you're there, but there's the pressure and the travel and all the expense. This is in the middle. You are actually seeing the casting director, you're getting feedback, you're getting direction, and you know you're being watched. But you're doing it from your own home. As an actor, as a member on there, you can create a profile and you can offer yourself out as a service as a reader or as a self-tape reader or to give advice, and you can choose to do that because you like working on your craft. You can choose to do that for tips only. You can choose to do that for a fee. Could your mum or your best friend do a Meisner session? No, they wouldn't even know what it was.
No.
Here's a community of people that get it straight away. Someone from Lambda will pop up, a guy just did it last week at Lambda.
Yeah.
I'll be your guest. And we want people to use that way, so this idea is to encourage that a little more. But if any of your viewers are watching this at home and think I don't have that many auditions, why would I use this? This is why. You can get on there and practice with people.
Right.
You might be invited by a casting director if they're running an audition. in which case you don't need to be a member. You would just log in, you'd enter the audition, and you'd be able to use the system. That is for the audition. So there's no requirement for membership. If you want to use all of the rehearsal features, the self-tape features, we have an account that you can have a subscription for, and we charge a small fee per month for that.
A regular laptop with
has its own camera.
Has its own camera is all you need, because it works in the Chrome browser. You just open the browser, go to the website, and everything's there. You don't need any other apps. You don't need any downloads.
Before you're into the audition, or before you're into your self-tape, you check that you can see yourself. Yeah, I can. And if you've got an external camera, you'd select one or the other. With microphones, same. If I've plugged in a microphone, maybe I'd select that one. Check the sound on the bar.
Right.
Next, check that my speakers are on. Yep. And this has solved about 99% of our technical issues with people.
Yeah. And when he says check, by the way, it's super simple. It's a big green red button. Can you hear this? Yes or no?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's designed for even the most non-technical person to get. Yeah.
One of the features is with We Rehearse for actors is that they can do self-tapes on there, so they can actually record on the system as well. So they don't need to be setting up a camera or whatever. If you're in a hotel room, you can do that through. You can request a reader on the system, and the video records me for my self-tape and the voice of my reader. So if you're my reader, you wouldn't be on my self-tape. It's not like recording Skype and you're in the corner or anything like that. It's just my self-tape with your voice.
Wow.
So very clean, already uploaded, already compressed, all in the system. So I can download that file or save it for later, or it's already online. I don't need to have space on my phone. Or
Once you have a membership, if you want one, you can watch back your audition tapes, which we think is going to be super valuable, because every time you come out, you think, I could have done this, could have done that. We had an audition on there last week by an Emmy-winning editor-producer. He's casting for a new pilot that they're doing, with a very big music star as the star. And he was casting very specifically for a role based on a real life person. And in one session, he met with actors both from London and from the US.
Right.
In one 1 hour session, and was able to cast his net that wide. One of the guys that was auditioning was a British actor auditioning, but was on holiday in Spain.
Wow.
And he still got to be seen.
Right.
Otherwise, you might not have had that opportunity.
No. As well, this always happens. You book a holiday and you get an audition.
Book a flight, book a job.
Exactly. Always happens. Really, what it's also achieving here is that actors are getting access to casting directors and castings that they normally would be locked out of. And equally, casting directors are getting access to talent that normally wouldn't be brought to them.
Yeah, it's good for the casting directors as well. It's a
Yes.
really good thing for casting directors to have access to people who are on the system and want to be part of the system and the community.
This is already existing. We have friends on multiple TV shows that have never set foot in a room, and then they've got a series regular.
Right.
But that system was complicated for everybody involved.
And now this simplifies.
Yeah, so we've taken all the technologies, we've ramped them up to get the very best of all the technologies and streamlined it into a nice simple interface.
This is what being proactive is all about. And what Darren Darnborough and Richard Cambridge have created here is something that is going to change our world as we know it within our profession as actors. And it's such a golden opportunity for you, for the industry. Darren Darnborough, Richard Cambridge, thank you so much.
He's Richard Cambridge.
He's Darren Darnborough.
And we run We Audition.
And this is Diary of an Actor.